12 months in jail. You may hear some fines that exceed $1,000. That just means that those are those high and aggravated misdemeanors or cases of multiple offenders. As with any other court in the state of Georgia or in the United States, you have certain constitutional rights. I'm gonna go over those rights with you right now. I'm sure the solicitor has gone over with you previously. And then I'm gonna refer back to them as I talk to each person individually to take care of your cases. You have the right to be presumed innocent. The burden of proof is on the city of Sylvester to prove that you did in fact commit the alleged offense. They must meet that burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. You also have the right to testify on your own behalf, and if you choose not to testify, then that cannot be held against you. You also have the right to confront any witnesses that may be used to testify against you. In some instances, you have the right to a jury trial. The city of Sylvester Municipal Court does not hold jury trials, and so therefore, if you choose to exercise that right, your case will be transferred to the Worth County State Court. The other option that you have, if you choose to plead not guilty to your offense, is a bench trial, which means that you'll be scheduled to come back to this court. You can come back with your witnesses and your evidence, and you have a bench trial before a single judge in this court. Tonight is arraignment for a lot of you, and like I said previously, you've probably already spoken to the solicitor, but you have 3 plea options available to you. The first plea is a plea of guilty, which means I did it. If you plead guilty, we can resolve your case tonight. The second is a plea of not guilty, which means that you have the option to exercise that jury trial that I just told you about if your charge is conducive to that, or a bench trial. And the third one is a plea of nolo contendere, or some people call it no contest. That's not a guilty plea. A no contest plea simply means that you do not contest the charge against you, but the facts are so stacked up that it's more likely or not that you may be found guilty of that charge should you contend it.
Hit it, it'll change. No, this one just.
Elijah Zachary. Mr. Zachary, you charged with speeding and possession of marijuana less than announced,
Yes, sir.
and you had the opportunity to speak to the solicitor, and did you have the opportunity to speak to defense counsel?
Yes, absolutely.
You spoke to him? Okay. And you're agreeing to plead guilty under a pretrial intervention to the, both the speeding ticket and possession of marijuana less than announced, correct? All right. In fact, let me get everyone to raise your right hand for me. Save me a little bit of time. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Did you say yes, Mr. Zachary? You got to speak up for me, okay? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
Sir.
Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings?
Yes, sir.
You understand the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail?
Yes, sir.
Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead guilty to these charges? You understand if by pleading guilty, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of the court? All those rights that I just said, the right to a trial, a right to be presumed innocent, you waive those rights by pleading guilty. You understand that? And are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did the solicitor and the attorney explain to you what a pretrial was?
Yes, sir.
So if you successfully complete what I'm about to tell you to do, then these charges will be they won't go on your record. Okay. On the speeding ticket. On the speeding ticket, I sent you to a fine amount of $126. On the possession of marijuana charge, I sent you to a 12-month pretrial, fine amount of $761. And the completion of a drug responsibility course. I think those are still up online, if I'm correct?
Yes.
Okay. Upon completion of all of those things, the charges will be dismissed. Okay. You're 22 years old? You in school? You're not? Do you work? You got an interview tomorrow? You completed high school? Huh? You did not complete high school? Where's your interview tomorrow? Does Worth County or the city of Sylvester have any type of free GED classes? Anybody know off the top of their head? They do? Okay. What I want you to do, Mr. Zachary, is I'm gonna replace the drug responsibility course, and I want you to enroll in a GED program while I have you on the pretrial, okay? Hopefully you'll complete it and you'll walk away from this with a GED. There'll be other terms and conditions to your pretrial. This is not probation, but it's a form of probation, but it's called a pretrial. And you're free to go once you see the probation officer.
Table in the back. Table in the back.
Made of gas. Wait, Nada? All right, I'm gonna ask you some questions. Ms. Gass, you answer for me, yes or no, okay?
Yes.
All right. Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol? Do you understand that the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail?
Never been to jail, never drink alcohol.
But you do understand that that's the maximum. That's not saying that's what you're gonna get, okay? Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead no contest? You understand that by pleading no contest, you waive all those rights I mentioned in the beginning of court?
Yes, sir.
Are you a U.S. citizen? Are you a United States citizen? Of the United States?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
One girl there.
In Sylvester?
Sylvester.
All right, I'm gonna find your plea is voluntarily entered, that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Now, you told me that there was an accident.
Slight accident. yeah.
Did anybody get hurt?
No, sir.
Okay. And the
nobody-
other,
And his truck didn't even get bent. He got out, we both looked. He said, well, I don't have no scratches on my truck, okay. I said, okay, so we talked and I went on home. By the time I got home, the police was there and they got a report.
Okay.
So he had said, you know, that was it.
were you in the car with her?
Yes, sir.
You were?
There was a verbal agreement between the two. They give him the right hand.
Okay.
All right, we all go.
All right, I'm gonna follow the solicitor's recommendation.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna accept your no low plea. I'm gonna waive the fine. And you're free to go. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I have been asked.
Huh?
What?
Tavon Dowdell.
Yeah, Mr. Dowd was charged with a loud vehicle. My understanding from him that it was a hole in his exhaust. Again, he's got access to have officer drive sign confirm that it's fine, making the loud noise now. It also appeared to have a good driving history. Based on that, I moved him off off the ticket since he's fitting to have it fixed.
Your car is outside, and the officers already looked at it. Okay, the solicitor has recommended your case be non-pros. I'm gonna follow the solicitor's recommendation. You're free to go. Maya Hill. Ms. Hill, you're charged with failing to yield while crossing the roadway. You spoken to the solicitor. You're gonna enter a plea of no contest. I'm gonna ask you some questions. Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol? You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings? You understand the maximum sentence this court can impose, a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail? Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead no contest to this charge? Are you a United States citizen? Now, is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence? I'm gonna accept your no-low plea, Ms. Hill. We sent you to a fine amount of $50. Do you have that tonight? Upon payment of that fine, your case is resolved. I think I saw you, did I see you get out the car earlier today? I mean, tonight? Yeah, I think I was gonna ask you to escort me in. But-
My car is
Thomas Cross? Ms. Cross, you charged with improper lane change and driving without a tag. You had the opportunity to speak to the solicitor, and he is going to non-cross the improper lane change and reduce the driving without a tag, the improper decal. Is that your understanding? All right, I'm gonna ask you some questions. You answer for me out loud, yes or no, okay? Are you now under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings? You understand the maximum sentence this court can impose, the fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail? Anybody promise you anything or force you to enter into that agreement with the solicitor? Are you a U.S. citizen? Is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence?
I'm just a disability, disabled, so I don't stick you too hard with fines, so I'm asking Steve.
Okay, on the improper lane change, that's gonna be null cross, which means that's dismissed. And on the driving without a tag, do you work? You say you don't work?
Sir, I'm disabled.
You disabled?
Yes, sir, I do a little here and there, you are working for people before they ever. But then I went and got my tag that afternoon, when I have to bring it in, so I don't remove the stuff, so it was like a month late. It's like a month overdue if you get rejected for it. And when I went that afternoon and got it, so.
That you got a valid driver's license?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna give you a fine of $100, okay?
Yes, sir.
Can you pay that tonight?
Nah, tonight, and I'll pay it tomorrow.
I'm gonna give you until September the 26th. If you pay it by that date, you don't have to come back to court, but if you don't pay it by that date, you have to come back to court,
Where I need to pay it,
at the police station.
police station. I'll be there in the morning. All right? Well, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Shamar Musenden. Mr. Mustaden, you're charged with, operating without a valid tag and speeding. And you've spoken to the solicitor, and he's going to, allow you to plead to, a reduced speed of 49 and a 35 and improper decal. Is that you understand? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings?
No, sir.
You understand the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail?
Yes, sir.
Anybody promise you anything or force you to enter a plea in this matter?
No, sir.
You understand that by entering a plea, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of the court?
Yes, sir.
And are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm gonna find your plea is voluntarily entered, that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Now, is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence?
Yes, sir. I'm not, I recently finished, basic military training. I just came back and I'm living with my girlfriend. Like, I don't really have a real support system. So like, I just got a job at Tipton. So I'm not really familiar with the area. Like, I understand that I was skiing. I apologize for that. But, as far as the tag out, I didn't realize that it was like expired, and I'm currently taking that from the way right now. I just got the majority of the problem fixed with my engine light, and now I think it's like some sensors I gotta take care of, and then I gotta take it down to Atlanta to pass the mission. But I can't, like right now, I don't have the means to maybe take it, so I was wondering if I could get an extension.
How old are you?
The 24.
24. You said something about you just finished military training?
Yes, sir.
And what type of training is that?
It was for the Air Force for air transportation.
Are you going into the military?
I'm a reservist.
You're reserved?
Yes, sir.
So you've been in the military?
No, I recently just like enlisted as a reservist.
Okay.
I report to job.
You live in, Sylvester,
Albany.
Albany?
Yes, sir.
All right, on the speeding ticket, I'm gonna accept the solicitor's recommendation, reduce the speed to 49 and a 35. I'm gonna sentence you to a fine amount of $200. On the tag, I'm gonna accept the solicitor's recommendation to reduce that to improper decal with a fine amount of $185. So the total fine amount is $385.
Yes, sir.
Now, I understand you said that you can't pay that tonight.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna sentence you to 12 months probation, but I am gonna allow probation to terminate upon payment of that.
Yes, sir.
And I also allow, that probation to be converted into community service if you start having a financial hardship and you can't pay it, okay?
Yes, sir. When I'm able to pay it, just go to the Sylvester Police Department.
Yes, sir. Now, there'll be other terms and conditions to the, to your probation. You're gonna see probation before you leave, and once you see them, they'll explain everything to you, how it works, and then you're free to go, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Shavis Allen? Mr. Allen, you are charged with running a red light and unlawful use of a wireless device. You've spoken to the solicitor, and he's gonna dismiss the wireless device, and you're gonna plead guilty to the, you're gonna plead no contest to the red light violation, correct? Okay, I'm gonna ask you some questions. I want you to answer for them out loud, okay? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol? You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings? You understand the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 to 12 months in jail? Anybody promise you anything or force you to enter into that agreement with the solicitor? You understand that by entering into that agreement, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of the court? And are you a U.S. citizen? Okay. I'm gonna find your plea is voluntarily entered and that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Now, is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence? How old are you? 19? You in school? You graduated? Worth County? Lee County? You got a Bluetooth or something now? Yeah,
He doesn't
something.
charge, but that was based off a negotiated plea agreement, he didn't include the red line.
Okay.
It's not pursuant to the statute.
Well, okay, then I'm giving you a lecture then. Do you have a Bluetooth device for your phone? Your car doesn't have Bluetooth? Can't connect? Oh, you do, okay. All right, on the red light violation, I'm sending you to a fine amount of $195. You have that tonight? Okay, then upon payment of that fine, your case is resolved. Kimberly Taylor. Okay. This is a reset. What was the fine that was supposed to be paid? So you still owe $235, is that correct? And why haven't you paid it?
Because the officer that he told me if I got my tag, the possibility that it would have been thrown out before I came to court, and I paid the $50 seatbelt ticket, but he added an extra $50 on the ticket.
Now, your case has been adjudicated, so the possibility of it getting thrown out is not even on the table because obviously Judge Weaver found you guilty and gave you a fine to pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the fine amount was what?
$235.
So now my question tonight is, why haven't you paid $235?
Because I thought I had to come back here. He told me to come back on the 13th to pay it.
I think it could have been a misunderstanding. I wasn't here, okay?
Yes, sir.
But I think what he meant was you have until the 13th to pay it. If you don't pay it by the 13th, you have to come back to court.
Oh, I thought I had to come back to pay it.
Now, if you would have paid it, you wouldn't even have to be here tonight. You got it now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then pay it and you're free to go.
All right.
Sarah Huff. You charge a fee to stop at a yield sign, fee to stop at a stop or yield sign and no insurance. You spoken to the solicitor
Yes, sir.
and you're gonna plead, guilty to the failure to yield and to the lesser charge of no proof of insurance. Is that your understanding?
No, I don't. He said I didn't have to do the insurance, so if I showed where I had insurance.
Mr. Pro,
Yes, sir.
according to the plea agreement that I'm looking at, she's gonna plead to no proof of insurance instead of no insurance and fail to yield at a stop sign?
I just don't understand the way.
Your Honor, if I may take a look. Yes. I have yours. I post this to make sure it's- I'm not sure if it stops.
Okay.
So I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
talk-
I got it, thank you.
Is that your understanding now?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna ask you some questions, you answer for me out loud, okay?
Yes,
Are
sir.
you now under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings?
No, sir.
You understand the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail?
Yes, sir.
Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead to these charges?
No, sir.
You understand that by pleading, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court?
Mhm.
And are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna find your plea is voluntarily entered, that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea, okay? Is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence?
No, sir, I read that stop sign. I have a lot of anxiety about getting my son to school late because he's special needs and I have to be there at a certain time so it doesn't disrupt the bus route system, but I read that stop sign.
And you have your insurance up to date now?
Oh, yes, sir, I just didn't know, it just was a simple couple of clicks, I didn't know.
All right, on the stop sign violation, I'm gonna send you to a fine amount of $195. And on the, no proof of insurance, since you've shown us list of the insurance, I'm gonna reduce the fine by half to $240, okay?
Okay.
So that's $195 plus $240. My math is horrible. $435. Can you pay that tonight?
No, sir,
Okay. Do you work?
no, sir, I have two special needs children, I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Do you think you're able to pay it? Today is the 13th, by October the 11th?
Possibly.
I don't want to put a financial hardship, but I'm also trying to avoid placing you on probation. I tell you what I'll do. I'm gonna do this one as a pay only. And, I'm gonna send you to 12 months probation with the probation terminating upon payment of the fine.
I can pay it by October 11th.
You sure?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. You get a summons to come back to court on October the 11th. If you can't pay it, I don't want you to make the same mistake, the young lady right there made.
No, I can pay
If you
it.
pay it by October 11th, you don't have to come back to court.
Right.
If you don't pay it by October 11th, I want you to come back to court and then you be placed on probation.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Hold on, they got to give you a summons to come back to court. Victor Edwards. Mr. Edwards, you're charged with speeding.
Yes, sir.
And you talked to the solicitor, and he's gonna, he is requesting that speed be reduced to 49 in a 35. Is that your understanding? All right. Make sure these questions you answer for me out loud, yes or no, okay? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings?
No, sir.
You understand the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail?
Yes, sir.
Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead?
No, sir.
Huh?
No, sir.
Okay. You understand that by pleading, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
And are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Now, is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence?
Question.
Yeah. I usually don't answer questions, but I answer.
What is going on around,
No, with the speed reduction, this speed won't be reported,
Appreciate it.
so your insurance shouldn't be affected. The fine is $175. You have that tonight?
Yes, sir.
You hesitated, so what does that mean?
I was thinking $49.
You thinking $49? It's one of those instances where, you probably too young, but you ever had your mom say you can't have your cake and eat it too? Yeah. The cake was the 49 and the 35, but the fine is 175. So if you do have it, I mean, but you'll probably say that on insurance since, you know. So do you have it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Then upon payment of that fine, your case is resolved.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Pamela Matthews.
She's coming.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Matthews, you're charged with shoplifting, and you're gonna plead guilty, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I live in Florida, I can't keep running back and
Is
forth.
this your first time coming back? This your first time, this your first court date?
Yes.
Okay. And you were arrested, am I correct? All right, answer these questions for me, okay?
Yes, sir.
Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings?
No, sir.
You understand the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail?
$1,000?
Mhm.
Yes.
That's the maximum, that doesn't mean that's
Yes,
what
sir.
you're gonna get.
He told me.
Okay. You understand that by pleading guilty, you waive all the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of court?
Yes, sir.
Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
And are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Do you live in Florida now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there
Keystone
anything?
Heights, Florida.
What part?
Keystone Heights is a 3-hour drive.
Tell me what it's close to. Gainesville?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
30 minutes from Gainesville. That's from the doctor's office.
And
Gainesville to Latter.
what store were you in Sylvester?
The Walmart on that main road over here.
Okay.
I don't know.
I mean, you're not from here. Were you just passing
My
through?
son moved here. And I had come down, I think, what was the date I was arrested?
I don't know.
I think it was for his birthday, I was here.
All right, do you come down here often?
Not packing up, but it's too far for me to ride with my health conditions.
Okay.
I'll probably be back around Christmas, or they'll come there for Christmas. I'm not sure.
Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna accept your plea
I'm
of
on
guilty.
disability, so I can't do the
It
run back
was
and forth.
a cash money. I'm gonna forfeit the bond, so you don't have to pay any more money. I'm gonna keep the money that you paid to get out of jail.
Okay,
Okay, that's gonna be your fine amount.
okay.
But I'm also going to ban you from that Walmart for 6 months.
I have that paper.
Okay.
Well, it didn't say for 6 months, but it said trespass. I guess so.
Well, I mean, just as long as you don't have to show it to me.
Okay.
That's separate from this criminal proceeding.
Oh, okay.
Obey that one. Mine is 6. If that one is longer than 6, then when mine expires, you keep obeying that one. Okay?
So I can't go in it for 6 months.
Yeah, that'll keep you out of there around Christmas, so I don't want to tempt you.
I got Florida.
Oh, you got Walmart's in
They
Florida?
got drugstores.
All right, that's the sentence of the court, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, have a safe trip back.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Do I need to see anyone?
Haley Barber,
Keep my bell, but I need to see it.
Ms. Barber, you're charged with the lane direction violation, and you're gonna plead to 2 fast food conditions, is that correct?
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you some questions, you answer for me out loud, okay? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
You suffer from any mental condition that stops you from understanding these proceedings?
No, sir.
You understand the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail?
Yes, sir.
Anybody promise you anything or force you to enter a plea of guilty to this reduced charge?
No, sir.
You understand that by pleading, you waive the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of the court,
Yes, sir.
and are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm gonna find your plea is voluntarily entered, that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I impose sentence? How old are you?
19.
You finished school?
I graduated this year.
What do you do now?
I work at a daycare in Tiffany.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna accept the solicitor's recommendation to your plea of too fast for conditions. We sent you to a fine amount of $50, okay? You got that tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you pay that and your case is resolved.
Thank you.
Marlon Jackson. I'm gonna try to explain this the best um, I've just been explaining. You have to pay $70 for a failure to appear. And you're supposed to spend 2 days in jail.
No, sir. That made me certified, I'd be suspended.
He said that if you hadn't paid it by today, you have to spend 2 days in jail,
Yes, sir.
but you paid it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, then I'm gonna give you benefit of the doubt on that one. And I'm gonna go with your interpretation, okay? And you want your case transferred to state court.
Yes, sir.
Do we have the paperwork for the transfer? Is, the address on this ticket your same address? I don't wanna say it out loud, you can come look at it.
It's saying,
It's 12th Street?
yes, sir.
Okay. All right, you'll be given a notice of when it comes to state court, okay?
Yes, sir. That's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Robert Awar. Owar. All right, you're charged with, the move over violation. You've spoken to the solicitor and he's, allowed you to plead to reduce charge of too fast for conditions. Is that your understanding? Okay. I'm gonna ask you these questions, answer them out loud, okay? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings?
No.
You understand the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 to 12 months in jail?
Yes.
Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead to this reduced charge? You understand that by pleading to this charge, you waive all the rights that I mentioned in the beginning of the court? And are you a U.S. citizen? All right, I'm gonna sentence you under a pretrial on this charge. And the fine amount is gonna be $50, Mr. O'Ward. Do you have that tonight?
Yes.
Okay. And upon payment of that fine, then this charge will be dismissed.
Thank you.
Mr. Crowe.
Yes.
Clavin Williams. Mr. Williams, you are charged with a move over violation. Sorry.
Thank you.
And the solicitor has offered you the opportunity to plead to two fast work conditions. And it's my understanding that you and Mr. O'War were stopped on the same night or received these citations on the same night.
Mr. Overall was stopped. We had our monthly progress meeting when he was our guest speaker. And I was showing him I was leading him over to the middle school where the meeting was. When the officer stopped him, I just backed up to see what was going on. And so she wrote me up.
And Mr. Pro, you want to state something for the record?
Yes, sir. That's not understanding the facts. I understand they were traveling in tandem, nearly hit the police officer. He stopped voluntarily, but the officer has indicated to me that they were both traveling in the same speed by the police officer on the side of the road in violation of New York statute. Based off of the argument he's made, his driving history, I was willing to make an offer reduction on 2 transfer conditions. That's not put off on this whole thing.
And the speed he was going was less than 10 miles per hour. We couldn't get over into the car lane because there were 3 semis that were coming. And it was excessive traffic. So based on the law, you can slow down to a speed that does not endanger anybody. And that's what we did. We were going below 10 miles per hour. We didn't endanger anybody. And we just proceeded on to where we were going to hit.
Well, I'm not having
The
a,
state's ready to move forward on most new local violation. The city of Sylvester is.
well, I'm gonna dismiss this charge. But it's not for the reasons that's been stated on the record. I have some other issues with the stop itself. So I'm gonna dismiss your charge. You're free to go.
Yes, sir.
Miranda Stoll. Are you ready for the application? I mean, she's the last one, isn't she?
You have a couple
Those are-
inmates as well.
Those are hers.
Oh, yes.
Ms. Stoll, you're charged with improper lane change and driving with a suspended tag.
Yes, sir.
And you're talking to the solicitor, and he's gonna dismiss the improper lane change. You're gonna plead guilty to improper decal. I'm asking you some questions, you answer for me out loud, okay? Are you not under the influence of drugs or alcohol? You suffer from any mental defect that stops you from understanding these proceedings?
No, sir.
You understand the maximum sentence this court can impose is a fine of $1,000 or 12 months in jail?
Yes, sir.
Anybody promise you anything or force you to plead to the improper decal?
No, sir.
And are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna find your plea is voluntarily in it, that you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Now, is there anything you'd like to tell the court before I post sentence?
Not really.
I mean, this is your time. Now, Mr. Crowe has to go somewhere, but I give you a little time to explain.
Not really.
Okay,
I just want to get out of here together.
No, she's here to have a clean bottom, Mr. That's not fair.
okay. How old are you?
18.
18, you finished school?
I graduated high school and I now go to college.
Where you go to college?
South University.
And the car you were driving, was it yours?
No, it's my father's.
It's your father's?
Yes, sir. We shared a vehicle.
Did they correct the decal?
It's correct, John. But I have officer out there and confirm it by vehicle tag.
All right, I'm gonna nod across the improper decal also, okay? Just consider this to be a warning. And tell your dad that he almost cost you a lot of money. You understand? All right, have a nice night.
Thank you.
Lorena Michelle Phillips. Ms. Phillips, this is a probation revocation hearing. The probation officer is going to recite the allegations. I'm going to give you the opportunity to respond to them, okay?
Ms. Phillips.
Hold on one moment. Raise your right hand. Both of y'all raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
Ms. Phillips, failed to report since May 19th of 2022. She failed to complete paying her court fines and fees. She failed to obtain a high school diploma or a GED. And she has not completed her responsibility or where this was for.
What was the, Ms. Phillips, are those allegations true?
I have not completed the rights and responsibility book. I have bought it, but I have not completed it. Also, I did miss, since May, but I called June when I was supposed to report. I called the front office of the police station. I can't remember the lady that I talked to, but she told me to come the following time. It was time to report because it was 4:30 and it just came on my mind that I was supposed to come report. And by the time I got to the tip of Sylvester, it was going to be too late anyways. I came back July 14th and was reporting, but I was sitting in the office with my son and she came out and said that I had a warrant. My mother and my brother was incarcerated at the time. My brother did 2.5 years, my mother did 9 months. So I had no one to get my child. I left to get my things in order and I got pulled over and was disciplined for my warrant. The court bonds, I really have nothing to say about that. I lost my job, so I didn't have a way of paying it. And I was making $22 an hour at Target, so it's kind of hard for me to go from making that to finding another job that would pay everything I needed to pay. What else? The high school diploma I was doing through Penn Foster. Target was paying for it, but when I lost my job, they quit paying for it. So I had to figure out how to figure that out on my own.
So the allegations are all true.
Basically,
How long have you been in jail?
since last 11 days.
11 days? What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is I would love for her to pay her arrears and then be restored back to probation, but obviously she's not.
What are the arrears?
$1,568.
Do you have any plan to satisfy your financial obligation to the city?
If I can get out and get a job, I can do that. I guess I'll just have to settle with getting a regular job. Like I said, it was hard for me to transition from 22 an hour to, regular paying job, but if that's what I have to do, then that's what I'm going to do. And tax time is around the corner as well, so.
Now, one last question. You had stopped reporting, so even without money, even without anything, I want you to report, okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna ask, I'm just gonna tell you, that's what you need to do. You need to at least tell her what's going on, and that might keep you out of jail instead of just not reporting at all and then getting a warrant issued, okay?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna revoke, 11 days and restore you to, probation.
Okay.
As soon as you get out, she'll tell you the first day that you need to report. Where's your mother now?
She's, in Sylvester.
You said your mother was incarcerated?
She just recently got out. She was ERC and stuff like that.
I want you to, pay $200 by September the 30th. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Go to the bank, CBC, and give her your updated information.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
LaQuante Green. This is a probation revocation hearing. Probation officer is going to recite the violation and give you the opportunity to respond, okay? Would you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Mr. Green has not reported since October the 29th, 2020. He has not.
Did you say 2020?
2020. And, he has not completed paying his court fines, his, probation fees, and he has not, obtained a valid driver's license.
And the court fine is how much?
Well, his full-time balance is $3,235. His early payout is $2,206. His arrears are, $1,455. He's only paid $105 since he's been on throughout the total thing before I issued it on this case.
And Mr. Green, are those allegations true? And you got any explanation for me?
I'm calling personal stuff going on. And I had called in one time. I told her I didn't get a job. I ain't got a job. I just stopped.
When did the warrant get issued?
The warrant was issued, January the 12th, 21.
And it took that long to get?
Yeah.
What's your recommendation?
Same as, Miss Phillips, I would love for him to pay the arrears, but he got time to pay. He got 610 days on probation, but it's
What do you-
the problem.
Where do you live? Worth County? I guess my issue is, if I let him out of jail and restore him probation, and then he doesn't pay, if it took a year to find him this time. Yeah, go ahead, help me out.
Technically, sir, they wasn't really good.
So you've been around the whole time.
Look at them every day, speak to them every day.
How long you been in jail? 11 days?
He's been in 8 days.
8 days? So I can't tell you what the sitting judge would do if he were here, but what I'm gonna do is give you another chance. I'm gonna give you the same, who do you live with? I'm gonna revoke 8 days of your probation. I'm gonna restore you to probation. I want you to pay $400 by September 30th, okay?
Step to the back and give Ms. Smith your updated information. Okay?
You leaving tonight?
Yes.
Like right now?
I'm gonna put that shot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, that's gonna be, probably the rest of the video to check, make sure you get that.
Oh, well, he's gonna meet you again in state court.
It is.
So, did he think that he would get him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I guess they gotta go back to at least undress him.
I wasn't trying to be difficult. I have a safe trip.